You're listening to The Financial Outfitter, helping turn dreams into cherished memories. Sponsored by BPG Planning, purpose-based personal financial planning because it's about more than your money.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for spending some of your precious time with us today. My name is Brian Pitell. I'm the host, founder, and creator of the Financial Outfitter podcast. Our aim is to encourage people to broaden their horizons on the sporting lifestyle and engage more deeply in their passions by bringing you firsthand experiences of people that have been there and done that, and discussing why they did it, how they did it, would they do it again, and what they've learned from it, in an effort to encourage those that are exploring those opportunities to take the next step in their sporting journey. So what is the Financial Outfitter? Well, probably in a nutshell, it's a promoter of the sporting lifestyle. Our goal is to profile people that have had interesting journeys traveling the world, both hunting and fishing, and share with the audience where they went, what they did, why they did it, and what they learned from it, and would they recommend other people exploring that same experience. We want to put a spotlight on people that have taken their interest, their passion in hunting and fishing, and turned it into a career path, built a business. Why? To expose them to a larger audience, a new audience. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that are interested in making that their career path or building a business in this space and providing them the opportunity to learn from people that have already done it. And finally, we want to highlight individuals and organizations that have utilized hunting and fishing and that sporting lifestyle as a way to deliver on their mission as a greater good, basically charity, whether that's an organization that we're going to talk to early on in the first episodes, like Casting for Recovery, the Mayfly Project, the Blue Bag Project, Hunt of a Lifetime, and organizations like that. I mean, this is very much a grassroots effort, but it's something that I personally believe in the message and the mission. So, from a tangible perspective, the Financial Outfitter is a newsletter. Last year, it was in print, and we mailed it out to hundreds of people. This year, the newsletter is going to be a digital offering on our brand new website, thefinancialoutfitter.com. And then, of course, now we're launching the podcast. How did the Financial Outfitter start? It really started with me using hunting and fishing analogies to explain personal financial concepts. That may seem like a reach, but the truth is that I got a generous amount of positive feedback from that. People were able to relate to the message. It made sense to them. And I thought, well, how do you take this to the next level? And it started out as, well, we'll produce a newsletter. Well, the newsletter ended up being 14 pages. And when the first person received it, they called me and said, I like your magazine. Well, I really wasn't aiming to produce a magazine, but it's been very, very well received. And I wanted to continue with the messaging because in the newsletter, we talk about the natural way of things, conservation, turning your passion into a paycheck. There are definitely topics that we could build upon. And the podcast gives us now a platform to talk to other people that have actually done that, and we can share their stories. So why have we created the Financial Outfitter? Initially, it was very much self-serving. I really simply wanted to spend more time with like-minded people. And I thought that this gave me an opportunity to do that, to bridge the gap between, my professional life and my passion and who I really am. Asking why about anything, I think, is one of the most powerful questions that you can ask. And, the lifestyle is not just an activity. It's it's not a hobby. I mean, it truly is. It permeates everything that you do. And for those people that really have a drive to pursue wild things in wild places, what I've found is we have a shared set of values. Those values transcend the activity, and we see the world through a similar paradigm. And I want to share that with people that haven't had that experience because I believe that there's a lot of value in it. The the path to being someone that is truly engaged in the circle of life, to learn to be proficient at that, I believe holds the remedy, the prescription to many of the ailments that plague the human condition in a modern world. Meaning, it requires you to develop focus, to pay attention to the details, to develop intuition, to be patient and self reliant. And I feel that those are things that are diminishing with each passing generation. You know, to be an observer of nature is one level of engagement, but to actually be a participant is something very different. And I believe again that the sporting lifestyle makes you an active participant. And as a result, you are, if you want to be truly engaged and successful doesn't mean that you're bringing something home every time you go afield, but are you capturing an experience? Are you part of the experience rather than an observer of an event? And that's a differentiating aspect of living, truly living a sporting lifestyle. So the mission of the financial outfitter is to promote connections in the sporting community and bring awareness to the opportunities and challenges of the lifestyle, to challenge members to think critically about their role in a modern world and to help others turn their dreams into cherished memories. That's may seem like a lot, but you know, go big or go home, right? uh, we break that down and start because people have asked me, they're like, what are the challenges? What do you mean when you say challenges? And there are many challenges to those people that enjoy hunting and fishing, and one of the obvious ones is just access to space. Where can you go? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm really talking about is something deeper than that. Um, and sometimes, you know, when you really speak right to the truth, it can be a little bit of a liability. You can, you know, be pigeonholed as a bad person. But I honestly feel that, you know, as sportsmen and women, there still remains a division between people that like to do different things. Meaning, maybe not everyone is going to go to Africa, and maybe not everyone is interested in hunting rabbits or fly fishing. Whatever it is, it's important that we're together because really we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. We're all pursuing the same thing. It's just we're going about it, uh, you know, a different way. You know, so is there a solution to the many challenges that the community faces? I mean, I don't think that there's a magic wand. There's no one solution because there's multiple challenges. But I do believe that providing providing the opportunity for people from different backgrounds to connect with one another, connect to the audience at large, elevate a level of awareness of what the challenges are, and encourage other people to engage. And that means, because not everyone that buys a hunting license in the United States is really completely engaged in the effort to protect, to conserve. And I think when people understand the importance and the, at this point in history, the urgency to do that, maybe we can inspire people to just take that next step. So something as simple as becoming a member of an organization that supports whatever it is that you're really passionate about. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Ducks Unlimited, Safari Club International, whatever it is, just the simple step of becoming a member is taking positive action. It's the equivalent of casting a vote. And, a lot of people don't even take that step. You know, when folks are allowed to change the language of something, it opens the door to then change the definition. And when you change the definition, what you often find is the purpose has changed. And what I'm specifically referring to, and this is not isolated to the activity of hunting. It permeates a lot of parts of our culture because it starts with language. Once upon a time, Colorado had a Department of Forestry, um, Fish and Game. Well, now they have a Department of Parks and Wildlife. What is the mission there now? What is the objective there now? If you'd really like to understand what's happening in Colorado, I would encourage you to take a listen to the East Meets West podcast, um, where I believe it's episode 351, where they interview a gentleman, and his name is Dan Gates, and he paints a very vivid picture. He has been on the sharp end of the sphere when it comes to dealing with the challenges there in Colorado for a number of years. And the interesting thing is that this is an instance that is not isolated to Colorado. And these types of things happen. The challenges that they're facing in Colorado happen because people are not engaged. They're not aware of what's happening. And it's gotten to a point where one day you wake up and think, how did this happen? Well, it started a long time ago, and it was allowed to happen basically from a lack of awareness. So I feel that the podcast gives us a platform to increase awareness on these issues and hopefully encourage people to be more engaged and be more of an active participant in protecting the things that they're passionate about. The next part of the mission is to challenge people to think critically about their role in the modern world. And that may seem pretty abstract and maybe even unnecessary, but the truth is that critical thinking is needed. You, you know, Other activities maybe that it doesn't require that. Meaning, like people that play golf don't have to think critically about their role in the world. This isn't a comment about golf. The truth is that any game, like football, baseball, whatever it is, we fabricated the rules. We came up with it. We didn't come up with the rules for hunting. Those rules were set in place for us by a higher power. And it's and I know that people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. But you know, particularly in the United States, we don't have to hunt to survive. It's There are other ways to sustain ourselves, most of us, anyways. So, what is our role in a modern world where you're not mandated to hunt to survive? And the truth is that As populations increase, there's more pressure on wild things in wild places. There is a need for management and to manage wild things in wild places with science. And I know that that can be also a sticky subject, and certainly one that we're going to explore early on in the with some early episodes in the podcast. But um, the role of hunter in many places has taken on that of not just provider but protector. And there's a lot of evidence of this, and we're going to bring that evidence to bear in different places of the world where there is no hunting. Uh, there are fewer animals, and a lot of people do know that, but a lot of people don't. And we want to share that story, explain that why, and help those of us that are maybe unaware of our role as protectors to become more aware of it, and if they can, be an active participant in the process. Hunting is no longer a necessity for a lot of people on Earth. That's not to say that it isn't everywhere, but the world has changed. Hunting for many people is a choice. So the final part of the mission statement is helping others turn dreams into cherished memories. Um, this probably this came about really as from a personal experience, and that is that uh, there were things that I wanted to do that I never thought I would be able to do. Matter of fact, I could barely imagine them at one point in my life, but I never let that go. And the moment that that happens, it's life changing. And you can never go back after you've had it happen. You can become, I don't, obsessed might be a little strong, but you become highly motivated to do it again. And I've become highly motivated to help other people have that same experience. And, you know, sometimes all you need is a little encouragement. You need to know that it's been done and it can be done. Um, the connection to the right person might make all the difference. And by putting those people or inviting these people to different people to share their experience and how they did it might be just enough to get somebody else to take that next step. Um, I mean, we're just getting started. Uh, if you know how you're going to accomplish a dream, then it's probably not big enough. So there are other aspects of this that we're still working on. Um, but really what we want to do is motivate people to do things that maybe they thought they couldn't otherwise do. So for me personally, the idea of traveling outside the country to hunt really, I there were periods of a long period of time in my life where I didn't really think it was possible, but I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And just through the course of people that I met, I started thinking about hunting stag in Argentina. And this idea of traveling to another country by myself and hunting big game, it just stuck with me. It wouldn't leave me. And I quite literally held on to that idea for a decade. It was 10 years I thought about it. I explored options, and I always felt that it was out of reach. And when that day finally came that I was leaving to go on this trip, it was surreal. But I was fortunate enough to harvest a stag, a free range red stag in Patagonia, and I mean it's a day that is now tattooed into my memory, and it it changed the way I ran my business. It changed the way I saw myself as a hunter. Um, it allowed me to witness firsthand how I could have an impact on a local community. Um, and it caused me to begin to immediately explore other options in other parts of the world. So this is an example of one of the things that we will be focusing on in the podcast to, help people understand that maybe what you would currently consider as beyond your reach is not beyond your reach. I mean, yes, I planned for that trip, that first trip. It took me 3 years, but I did it. And what I hope that you will find in the content of the show are other people that have had um, have been in similar situations where they've done things that at one point in their life they didn't think they could ever do. And we hope to be a resource for our listeners, both with encouragement and ideas, and also, in maybe the not so distant future, a network to help you take that next step. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you're as excited as we are about the future of the Financial Outfitter and the content we're looking to bring you. We have some very interesting guests coming up in the next few episodes, some international hunting adventures and experiences, global conservation, and of course, some charity. We look forward to helping you turn your dreams into cherished memories.
Our mission is to promote new connections in the sporting community by bringing awareness to opportunities and issues that impact our lifestyle, challenge members to think critically about their role in the modern world, and help others to turn dreams into cherished memories. This episode is sponsored by BPG Planning, purpose-based personal financial planning because it's about more than your money.